Okay. So, I just want to say hello to everybody who's tuning in to this Facebook Live with Sigourney from Culinary Confections. She's going to be doing a fun demo on making cake pops. So you can either follow along if you've prepared or watch and take some notes. We're super excited to have her on. Thank you so much, Sigourney, for doing this and just some information for everybody about the TVA, the Toronto Vegetarian Association. If you aren't a member and you've just stumbled upon this, or if you are a member and you're joining in with this Veg Spring e-market, you can become a member or donate online at veg.ca. And be sure to continue to tune in for the rest of today until 5. We're going to have other vendors on the hour featuring, and also tomorrow as well from 11 till 5. So with that, I'll pass over the virtual mic, I guess, to Sigourney so she can get started. And thanks so much for doing this again.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here today. You guys might see me looking over at my cell phone. I'm just watching the live stream there, so if there are any questions that are coming through, I will try my best to answer them, but I will probably leave that to the end because my hands are about to get very dirty. But welcome and thank you so much for joining me in my home kitchen. Welcome to my home. My name is Sigourney and I am the head baker and owner of Culinary Confections, which is an online vegan bakery delivering delicious, mouth-watering cupcakes and custom cakes all over the GTA. We place a focus on not only delivering the most delicious and mouth-watering cakes to you, but also to make as little an environmental footprint as possible by using only recyclable or fully biodegradable and compostable packaging. But enough about me. I know why you guys are all here today, and it's to learn how to make delicious and yummy cake balls. So, of course, this event was supposed to be live on the cooking stage at the Toronto Veg Fest Spring Market that was happening tomorrow. Based on the current circumstances, that won't be the case, but I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for joining me today. All right, so let's get started. What is a cake ball? A cake ball is basically just a cake pop without the stick. So that's what we're going to be making today. I know that everybody is at home and trying not to go out there unless they absolutely have to. So cake balls are a really fun way to do an activity at home. Most of these ingredients you're going to have in your home, and you can get creative with it and just use what you have on hand. So first I'm going to walk you through what you need to make these cake balls, and then we're going to get to the fun part. We're going to get started. All right, so first thing first, you need a rack, a cooling rack, a baking rack, something that you can just put your cake balls on to allow them to drain as they dry when we cover them in chocolate later. You need some chocolate. So right here, I just have some semi-sweet baking chips that I picked up, vegan of course, but you can use whatever chocolate you want, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate, your favorite chocolate bar, anything that can melt. You need your favorite icing. So here we have our vanilla buttercream, but you can use whatever your favorite icing is. You're going to need cake, the most important ingredient. So we have made ourselves a vanilla cake, but you can use whatever cake your heart desires. Get creative. You are the artist of your kitchen. So make your favorite cake, and that's what you can make your cake balls out of. You need a potato masher. Well, you don't need this. This is totally optional. I'll show you why. You can use your hands or you can use this. You'll need a spatula. You'll need a fork. We're going to get real technical with this one later. You need a scoop or a spoon as well. Lastly, you'll need your ingredients to decorate the cake. So these are all your fun toppings that we're going to decorate our cake balls with. So I'll tell you a little bit more about these later. So I'm just going to slide these away because you don't need them right now. And we're going to get started. Okay. So first thing first, let's take our cake. So again, we have our vanilla cake that I've baked ahead. So you can use your favorite cake recipe. You can use vanilla, you can use chocolate, you can use red velvet, you can use brownies if you want. It really does not matter. Just whatever you want to make. Make it according to the packaging or the recipe like you were making a cake, and then you're going to take the cake. So I have these nifty little cake pans where the bottoms pop out, and it's great for making cakes that don't stick. Also, another little trick that I do is I always put a parchment paper piece, circle piece on the bottom that I just measure out, and it again prevents the cake from sticking to the pan. But anyways, let's take this cake. We're gonna start breaking it apart. So this is what our cake ball is gonna be made of, and we're just gonna put it into our bowl. And this is where the potato masher comes in handy if you want to use it. You can mash your cake with this, but I'm not gonna use that. So I'm just gonna put it away, and I'm gonna use my hands. We're gonna get dirty here, so we're just gonna start mashing or breaking apart the cake. You wanna get a nice, I don't know, a nice broken down cake. So you're just gonna break it apart, and you're basically just deconstructing the cake. So a cake ball is really a deconstructed cake put back together and then held together with a delicious layer of chocolate. It's pretty simple to make, and they come out so cute. I love them, and I promise you will too. So we're just gonna keep breaking this apart. We're gonna do the whole thing. So this right here is only a third of a cake recipe. The average cake recipe will probably make you about 40 cake balls. So it does yield quite a bit, but since everyone is stuck inside, who doesn't want to be stuck with some delicious cake balls? Like I said, I'm using vanilla cake, but you can use whatever cake you want. You could use red velvet. Red velvet is heavenly. You could use brownie, like I said, and you can add things into this batter. So I'm just doing vanilla cake, but if you wanted to put sprinkles in here to make a fun funfetti cake ball, you could either bake them into your cake, or you could just toss them into this as you're breaking it down. You could add chocolate chips. You could add some sliced strawberries if you want to get really fancy. Use whatever you have on hand. Again, like I said earlier, you guys are the artists of your kitchen, and you need to make this what you want it to be. So we're almost done here. I don't know if you guys can see. I'll show you when I'm done in just a second, but it's just, you're just crumbling the cake. So you're looking for a nice crumbly texture. And once you have that, we're gonna move on to the next step. So I'm just finishing it off here. Just crumble away. And if you don't like to get your hands dirty, this is where the potato masher would come into play. But honestly, I think it's kind of fun to mash it yourself. And it does do a little bit of a better job when you use your hands. And there is no art to this, okay? You're just getting a very rough crumble, nothing fancy. I'm just gonna wipe my hands off. I'm going to show you. So this is our crumble. So as you guys can see, it's literally just that, a crumble. Nothing fancy. You don't have to get it too small. It's okay if there's big chunks. Just crumble the cake, and that's it. All right, next we need our frosting. So again, we're using our classic vanilla buttercream that we use at Culinary Confections, but you can use whatever you want. I would say you're probably gonna use about, for a full cake, about a full cup of icing. And again, it depends on how much frosting you like. So I am a frosting addict. I love frosting. I think frosting is the best part of the cake. But some people prefer the cake, so you can adjust it to whatever you want it to be, but you just are using this frosting to hold the cake together. So this is what's going to be the binder as we make our cake balls. So we're just mixing and letting it all come together. And for frosting, there's so many options. Vanilla is not what you have to choose. You can do chocolate. You can do a cream cheese frosting. Cream cheese on a red velvet, wow, that would be to die for. What else could you do? You could do lemon, you could do raspberry, and again, you can mix anything you want into here. So really get creative. You guys are at home, we're all at home. Just make a masterpiece. Besides, you get to eat it all at the end. So add the best ingredients that you have on hand. Okay, so I've been mixing it for a few minutes and it's starting to come together here. So again, it's just a binder. So if you really, really like frosting, you can add more. If you really don't like frosting, you can add less. Like I said, I love frosting. I'm gonna add a little bit more because why not? And then we're going to just keep mixing it together. Since I can't share it, I might as well make it how I want it, right? The plan was to be able to make these and then share them with all of you at the Veg Spring Market, but that's okay because you guys are going to be able to make these yourself. And they're so easy, you're gonna see. This is a great activity that you could do with your kids, make a date night out of it, make it for yourself. It's so, so simple. And the final product is absolutely delicious. So that's it. Okay, so again, I put a bit of extra icing in mine. You totally don't need to do that. You just want to have it come together so it's nice and sticky and it will allow you to actually form the ball. So I'm going to put this in the fridge. We want to put it in the fridge for about 30 minutes, up to an hour, and it's just to make it a little bit easier to scoop out. You don't have to do it. If you really wanted to make it on the spot, you could do it without putting it in the fridge, but it'll just make it a little bit easier for you. Okay, so I'm just going to put this in the fridge. Give me 1 second. I had already made a batch ahead of time, so this is what we're going to use to scoop them out. I'm just gonna look at my phone. If you guys have questions, like I said, I'm gonna save them till the end just because my hands are a little bit dirty. But please feel free to ask them at the end. I'm so happy to answer any questions you have. And if anyone has joined us, we're making vegan cake balls today. Okay, so here I just have a tray that I've lined with a silicone liner, and this is what we're going to make our cake balls on. So again, I have my batter that I prepared ahead of time for you guys. It's been sitting in the fridge. I mixed in my icing. Same thing. This one is vanilla. I'm going to take my scoop. This is an ice cream scoop that you can kind of push, and it pushes the dough out. If you don't have this, not to worry. You can use a spoon. And I'm gonna put it in my hand. I'm gonna do 2 of these. So this I think this is a tablespoon. So it's about 2 tablespoons of dough, and we're just gonna put them onto our tray. But you can make the cake balls however big or however small you want them. But like I said, 1 batter of cake will make about 40 cake balls this size. So that's 2 tablespoon size cake balls. But you can make smaller, you can make bigger, you can make whatever you want. Now Easter is coming up just around the corner, and well, it might not be the Easter we're used to. You can definitely make these for yourself or whoever's living with you, and feel free to get crazy. You can make these into the shape of Easter eggs. So easy to do. And what a fun activity and dessert to eat. Just instead of rolling them into the balls like we're about to do, you would just shape them into Easter eggs. And again, get creative. You can make these into little animals. If it was Valentine's Day, you can make them into hearts. For Christmas, you could decorate them Christmas flavored. For Halloween, you can make them into pumpkins. So many ideas. I'm getting so excited. But that's the fun of baking and decorating, is you can do whatever you want to suit the occasion that you're making them for. And you'll see at the end, but they make the cutest gift. They look like truffles when they're done. So obviously when you're making a cake pop, you have it on the stick. But a cake ball, I'm going to put them into little compostable cupcake liners, and they look like truffles. So it's the perfect idea to put them into a a gift box and you could serve them as a gift. The original purpose of this demo was going to be for Mother's Day. So it would have been it's a great gift idea, but again, it's also a great idea. We're just going to be eating these for dessert tonight. And every night for the next little while, since we're going to have so many. Okay, so now that we have put them onto the tray, we're just going to start forming them into balls. So there's no science here, guys. You're just rolling the ball out. You want to get a ball. And the scoop, it does help you to get a nice, even ball. But again, if you just have a spoon, use that. We want to use what we have at home right now. We don't want to be going out and buying new things. So you can use whatever you have. If you have a regular ice cream scoop, that would work too. Or just make them all different sizes. Maybe you want some small ones. Maybe you want some larger ones. Whatever your heart desires. And if you did want to turn these into cake pops, this is the stage that you would actually do it at. So you would take your cake pop stick. It's like, I guess, a lollipop stick meets a straw kind of, and you would stick them in. And you would do that now because once we're done doing this, we're going to be putting these into the fridge to firm up. And it's important that we do that because otherwise, when we turn them into chocolate-covered cake balls, if they're not cold or they're not formed, you're just gonna end up with a big mess. So make sure you don't skip that step. I know before I said if you wanted to make the batter without putting it in the fridge, that was okay, but it's very important that you do it now. I would say probably put it in the fridge for between 30 minutes to an hour. If you're in a real rush, just pop it in the freezer for 10 minutes, just enough so that they're firm and they're not gonna fall apart because our chocolate is gonna be melted, it's gonna be hot, and it's really gonna activate the fat that is in our icing. So if the chocolate is too hot and the cake balls aren't cool enough, then it's just going to, again, leave you with a mess. So I'm almost done rolling these out. It's a bit of a messy job, but that's okay. Last one. So we have all of our cake balls here and they're looking pretty good, pretty uniform. And then we're gonna place these into the fridge. All right, so here are our cake balls. And we're gonna put them into the fridge now. And then we're going to see them in about 30 minutes to an hour or about 10 minutes in the freezer. So give me 1 sec. I'm just gonna put these over here. I don't have a lot of kitchen space. I know that the kitchen was very clean when you joined me, but by the end of this video, I promise it's going to look like an explosion happened. And bear with me, I'm just going to wash my hands quickly. All right, I'm back. Just kidding, I didn't go anywhere because it's alive. All right, so I've pre-made some cake balls. Let me get them. And we did chocolate. So for these ones, I just made a chocolate cake and I put vanilla icing in it again. But like I said, you can put whatever you want into yours. So the chocolate is to cover the cake balls. So really what you need to do is you need to melt the chocolate. So the best way to melt chocolate is over a double broiler. So you would just put your chocolate into a glass bowl that can be heated up, okay? And then you would put it over a pot of simmering water and you would just mix it until the chocolate melts completely. You can also do it in the microwave if you really want to. It does take a little bit longer and I prefer the double broiler method. If you do it in the microwave, you want to do it in 30-second increments and no longer because it's very easy to burn your chocolate. So you would do 30 seconds, mix, 30 seconds, mix, so on and so forth. This is just chocolate in here. If you want, you can actually add a teaspoon of coconut oil per 1 cup of chocolate. And the reason you would do that is it just helps the chocolate to harden a little bit quicker. So our cake balls are coming out cold. When the chocolate and coconut oil hits them, it's going to dry a little bit quicker, but that's totally optional. I think that my mom has dialed into this live and she hates coconut oil, so I would not do that for hers, but you can definitely do that if you just want this process to be a little bit speedier. I don't think you taste it too much, but some people are very sensitive, so the option is yours. And again, you don't have to do semi-sweet. You can do whatever you want. Your favorite chocolate bar, white chocolate, milk chocolate, dark chocolate, whatever you want. The one thing to keep in mind though, if you are doing vegan white chocolate, you can buy the cocoa butter, which is basically just, it looks like white chocolate. And it's used to make white chocolate, but it's cocoa butter. So it does turn into an oil when you heat it up. So make sure to find actual vegan white chocolate. So I have prepared ahead of time. I've been double boiling my chocolate over here. So I'm just gonna remove it. I'm gonna dry off the bottom. It's a little bit wet. And we're going to get started. Just gonna have a sip of water. All right, so this is the fun part. This is the piece de resistance, the creme de la creme, the reason that you guys are here. So what we're gonna do is we're going to take our chilled cake balls. We're gonna dip them into our melted chocolate. Honestly, if you guys weren't here, I would just put a spoon in here and eat this melted chocolate. Chocolate is my kryptonite. I could eat it all day, every day. And then we're going to decorate our balls. So we have vegan sprinkles here. One thing to note about sprinkles is they're often not vegan. Why aren't they vegan? Because they can contain food dye. So red food dye number 4, red food dye 40, it's made from bugs, so technically not vegan. The other thing is it contains shellac, again, not vegan, and sometimes it contains bone char, which again, not vegan. So just make sure you're looking for vegan sprinkles. Lots of sprinkles out there are accidentally vegan. These ones I bought that are vegan, so just keep that in mind when you're looking for them. I've also done some shredded coconut. Very pretty on the cake ball. Coconut's not my favorite, but I know a lot of people like it, and it does look very pretty. So it's kind of pink. I don't know if you can see it, but I colored mine with some raspberries. So I just melted down a little bit of raspberry. I threw it onto the coconut, and it gave it this kind of pretty pastel-y pink orange color. Again, same thing as sprinkles. A lot of food dyes, unfortunately, aren't vegan, so you do need to be mindful of that. We have some pink Himalayan sea salt because chocolate and salt. I was getting really creative because, again, we're trying to use what we have in the kitchen, and I grated up some goji berries. So I'm pretty stoked about that. It's kind of like a freeze-dried raspberry on a chocolate, delicious. And then this is some fresh grated white chocolate. So that's what we're going to use today. But again, get creative, use what you have on hand. These are your cake balls. Make them how you want to. All right, let's get going. So we're going to take our cake ball, and ready? We're going to drop it into the chocolate. And this is where it gets really, really technical. So I'm using a barbecue skewer. You can use whatever you want. Find a method that works for you, and a fork. And I know it's kind of hard to see, but I'm just going to turn the cake ball until it's fully coated. I'm going to lift it out with a fork, and the fork is good because the extra chocolate can drip off of the cake ball. Just going to run it along the side, and then we're going to put it on to our drying rack. So if you've used coconut oil in your chocolate, remember it's going to dry a lot quicker. If you haven't, it's going to take a little bit longer to dry. I'm just going to look at this and see if there's any questions. Yes, Denise, good to know about shellac, food coloring, dye number 4 and 40 not being vegan. Very common, so just make sure if you are buying them that they are vegan. You can buy vegan food coloring, you can buy vegan sprinkles, but just make sure. Barbie, sorry if you mentioned this earlier, but how long do you leave the batter in the fridge the first time before you roll it into the balls? Again, this step isn't mandatory, but it does make your life a little bit easier. So about 30 minutes to an hour if you can, but even 10 minutes again in the freezer would do well. Sarah Faye, frosting is the best part of the cake. You're right. Thank you. I know my mom would agree with that. My husband, not so much. He likes the cake. It's a real dividing factor, let me tell you. All right, let's get back to this. So, sorry, not the most technology savvy, but we'll get back to that. So this one is drying, and let's go on to the next one. So we get to do this as many times as there are cake balls. So the first few that I'm gonna make, I'm not going to be decorating them, and you're gonna see why. Got a couple of tricks up my sleeve today to inspire you when you're looking through your kitchens and deciding how you wanna make these. But then we'll get to the good stuff and we'll decorate. Okay, so cake ball number 3, we're gonna decorate. And again, this is very technical. You lift it out, you wipe it off, and you use this barbecue skewer to just push it off the fork. And if you don't have a drying rack, a cooling rack like this, no problem. You could definitely just put this right on this silicone mat or a piece of parchment paper if you have that at home. That's totally fine. You're just using it as a conduit for it to dry. So ideally what you would do is you would put them on the fridge after to let them harden. So whatever surface you can rest them on is just fine. All right, so we have 3 cake balls here. Let's decorate one of them. I'm gonna start with the coconut because it's very pretty. And I'm just gonna sprinkle it on top. Just a couple of shreds there. And you could color this coconut with whatever colors you want. So if you find vegan food coloring, you can get crazy, but there's so many ways to color foods with things you have at home. So like I said, I just did a little bit of a raspberry compote, which sounds fancy, but really all you're doing is you're melting the raspberries, frozen raspberries, in a pot, and then you're mashing them with a fork. You can add sugar if you want, you don't need to, but that's it. And I just put probably about 1/4 teaspoon into a batch of coconut, and it gives it a little bit of a raspberry flavor, and it also gives it a beautiful food coloring. You can use cabbage. It does not give it any flavor, but you can get like a purple or a blue from boiling some cabbage in water and just adding that to whatever it is you want to color. You can use spinach for green. Again, no flavor whatsoever because you're just using maybe 1/4 teaspoon, depending how much you're coloring, of that colored water, and then you can put more to get a darker color. But yeah, it doesn't taste or change the taste at all. So on the 2 that I just did, I'm taking my pink Himalayan sea salt. Just gonna sprinkle that on top. Oh, guys, I'm so excited about this. The best part of doing a cooking demo is when you get to bite into it at the end. I know that you guys don't get to enjoy them with me like you would have in person, but like I said, it might be even better because now you'll have to make these yourselves. And if you do want to use a boxed cake mix, you can definitely do that. Like I said, so many of them are vegan, and it's very easy to veganize the ingredients that aren't. So when it calls for eggs, you don't have to use eggs. You can use applesauce, you can use banana, you can use flax egg as an egg replacer. Just Google vegan egg replacements. There's so many options out there, and you can just use those bought cake mixes. I've even seen, actually I tried it once where you use soda. You just use I think I used ginger ale, and it makes a really tall, really fluffy cake, and you could definitely use that for this. So you don't have to make your cake mix from scratch. You could even, next time you're at the grocery store, buy a cake and just break it down. It comes frosted. You're just going to break it, and that's a quick cheat that you could do to make these. Okay. So I'm done with my sea salt, and now I'm going to go on to my grated goji berry. These are delicious, and you could do this with freeze-dried raspberries. You could do this with freeze-dried strawberries. You could do it with dates. You could do it with raisins if you wanted craisins. Really get creative. I know that a lot of times you would just go out to the store and buy exactly what the recipe calls, but I think that's the beauty of cake balls, is that you can make whatever you want out of them. You can add any toppings that you want. You can add any cake flavor that you want. And like I said, it doesn't even have to be cake. You could definitely use brownie. You could use a banana muffin if you wanted and break that down. You could add your cream cheese frosting, which would be absolutely to die for. Really anything. Okay, so now we're gonna add some sprinkles. Those are my favorite ones. They're just so fun. They're cute. They're playful. And add however many you want. I'm a fan of sprinkles. I think you guys are getting that I'm a fan of anything sugar related. Sugar and chocolate. Those are my weaknesses. I know that some people are big into savory and salty, but for me, it is chocolate, sugar, candy, pastries, the whole shebang. I'm very pumped to eat these later. We're gonna have cake balls for days, which reminds me, you can actually freeze these guys. So just put them in an airtight container, place them into the freezer, and they'll keep for a couple of weeks. Just make sure that the container is airtight, and you can definitely freeze them because if you are making a full recipe of cake, it does make quite a bit. But if you're not making boxed cake and you're looking at an actual recipe, try just putting it into a third if you don't want too many. How many do we have here? I think it made 14 for a third of a cake. And you can adjust the size. Like I said, you can make them bigger, you can make them smaller. It does not matter. You're not baking them. So make them whatever size you want. Okay. Now we have our grated white chocolate. You know, I said that the sprinkles are my favorite, but the white chocolate is pretty darn cute. I'm going to do one extra white chocolate. I'm going to do one extra sprinkle. And then I'm going to show you guys the trick that I had up my sleeve. If you have can you hear that? I just dropped a bunch of sprinkles on the floor. One thing to know about me, I am very clumsy and I'm a messy cook, but that's okay. I clean up after myself. So I'm putting those away. But yes, if you have no decorations on hand, you got nothing, you can't get sprinkles, you don't have coconut, you can't grate up any fruits, that's okay. Actually, I need this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get this handy dandy bottle. And this is what I have, and I use this to decorate our cupcakes at Culinary Confections, but you do not have to do this. You could definitely use a pastry bag. You could cut the corner off of a Ziploc bag. You could even use a spoon. But what we're gonna do is we're going to fill this with some chocolate. And then we're going to drizzle it onto the cake balls. Okay, so again, you can use anything to decorate them. And if you want to stop here, if you like the look of the cake ball covered in chocolate, then stop there. These are your cake balls. These decorations just add a little bit of depth to the flavor. They make them look cute. But do whatever your heart desires. You could add fresh fruit to these. You could add fresh chopped up berries. You could add a drizzle of peanut butter. If you take like a Jif peanut butter and you just microwave it briefly, like just zap it for maybe 10 seconds, you're gonna get a really creamy peanut butter that you can squeeze out or drizzle on. You can mix peanut butter into the chocolate. You could put some vegan marshmallows on these. Guys, I'm thinking of so many ideas. Okay, so now we're gonna take this, and again, you could use a Ziploc bag. You could use a piping bag. You could use a spoon, whatever you want. And we're just going to drizzle. So ideally, you would wait until they were a little bit more firm so you can get a really defined drizzle. But mine have not firmed up yet. Again, if you used the coconut oil, they would have firmed up, or the chocolate would have firmed up a lot more. And that's it. We're just drizzling it on. I know it's kind of hard to see. Unfortunately, I don't have a professional kitchen. But let me bring it a bit closer. I don't know if this is helpful or not. So lighting is not as good over here. But we have our sprinkle cake balls. We have our ones with our goji berries, our sea salt, the ones that I just drizzled on top, coconut. Do you guys notice I only did one because I don't really like coconut? But I just wanted to give you ideas on how you can decorate these. Okay, so let me take a look at the questions, and then I'm going to show you guys what you really want, which is the final product once it's all dry. All right. So, all right, no questions. Bear with me. The final product, our finished cake balls. So how did we go from here to here? We put them in the fridge. The fridge is key to harden the chocolate. It just makes it solidify. If you don't want to put them in the fridge, you definitely don't have to. You're just going to have to leave them on your counter for a lot longer. In the fridge, these will harden up completely in about 30 minutes. You could eat them here. It's just going to be very messy. But here, look at how cute these are. So I put them in some compostable mini muffin cups, and they look like truffles. I was thinking you could put these into like a box and make it like truffle chocolates. You can put them on a cake display when you have people over. But I'm gonna try walking them up. I wish the lighting was a bit better close to the computer, but how good does that look? So this one is with the goji berry. This one is our sprinkle. Isn't that cute? How can you not be happy when looking at that? This one is our sea salt. We have our white chocolate here. So just again, shredded. And when I say white chocolate, I actually just shredded cocoa butter. So you can get cocoa butter. I got it at Bulk Barn a while ago. It is expensive, but for shredding, it looks like a lot, but it was maybe a teaspoon. It's not that much. It just it grows as you're shredding it. And this is the one that's drizzled. So they are really pretty. They look professional, and anybody can do this. Okay. Now I'm going to cut one open. So these ones are actually vanilla cake with a strawberry vanilla buttercream. Which one do I want? The decision is so hard. I mean, I get to eat them all, so it's fine. I'm just gonna cut. I'm just gonna get this one. So we got our white chocolate one, but I want to show you guys what they look like on the inside. Okay. So here it is. This is our final product cut open. You can kind of see on there there's some strawberry pieces, but if you had chocolate cake, you would see chocolate. If you did red velvet with cream cheese frosting, banana cake with cream cheese frosting, that would be delicious. I'm gonna try it. Wow. The only thing I would warn you guys of, they are highly, highly addictive. You're not just going to be able to eat one. You're going to want to eat them all, but that's okay because you made them. These are your creation. You're the artist of your kitchen, and you deserve it. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today. I hope that you liked this video. I hope that you had fun learning how to make delicious vegan cake balls. They're so easy. You can definitely do this at home. Please visit Culinary Confections on our Instagram page. It's at Culinary Confections. Check us out on Facebook at Culinary Confections TO, or visit us at www.culinaryconfections.ca. We would love to deliver some culinary confections to you. I want to send my biggest hugs to everybody out there in this difficult time, I want to say thank you to all of the frontline workers, all those people that are going into work every day. We are so grateful for each and every one of you. And I hope that these cake balls bring you a little bit of joy. Thank you so much. I hope to see you soon. I did forget to check the questions. So let's see if any questions have come in before I sign off. If there's any feedback, I'm so sorry. Let's just see. Yes, it is a very versatile recipe. There's so many flavor options. If you have any questions, let me know before I close down the live feed. While I wait, I'm gonna have one more bite. I really hope that you guys make these. If you do make them, please tag Culinary Confections. I would love to see your creations. I know that you guys are so creative and are going to come up with ideas that I didn't think of. One thing I also wanted to mention, I do have a blog. It's at Plant-Based City Living. We're a lifestyle blog. It's me and one of my friends, and we talk about all things vegan lifestyle, so recipes, our favorite products. Check it out. Plant-Based City Living on Instagram and Facebook. And our website is plantbasedcityliving.com. All right, well, thank you so much, everybody. Stay safe. Thank you. Enjoy these cake balls. And I am going to sign off now. Bye.